Please join me and make welcome Dr. Dahiru Sani. And he's a founder of Kaduna Business School and vice president of Transcontinental University, Ohio, USA. So if you're wherever you are, you can clap your hands, you can snap your fingers, you can clap. I can't see the virtual hands for some reason on this call, but you can put it in the chat area, put some emojis, make some noise, and make him feel welcome as he comes onto the virtual stage. Dr. Dahiru Sani, are you in the house?
Yes, I'm at the house. Good morning.
Okay, sir. Good morning, sir. Great to have you here. I'm looking forward to having this discussion with you in this conversation. So for you now,
so much.
Many of us have benefited from even the Kaduna Business School and your partnerships. So it's an honor to have you here, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. So we're talking today with you about entrepreneurial skills development opportunities for post-high school students. And that is a big thing globally. There's a lot of movement, again, also here in the States. A lot of things are happening. So we're really excited to dive in on this with you. So I'm going to just start with this question. So what entrepreneurial skills do you believe are most critical for post-high school students in today's economy? So people who have finished secondary school and they're in that in-between stage. What are some of the top entrepreneurial skills that you believe are critical for us to give attention to?
Thank you very much. Yes, and let me first of all really appreciate the organizers of this meeting. It's very critical, really, at a time like this and the stage which our country is in, and also for assembling such great speakers. I know I'm going to try and sit through to even listen and learn from others here. Well, first of all, let me make one point very clear. And I think it's very important for this country as we move forward. I don't know who's listening. I hope bigger people who are in policy positions are listening. When a behavior cements, when a culture cements, you do not make a policy statement and think it would work. So before we go into talking about which entrepreneurial opportunities, I want to make a statement. I want to postulate and make sure that my postulation is sitting on a foundation. So let me first of all establish that foundation. If a policy would work, if this policy can defeat, for example, the people who are going to make forged birth certificates, they are ready now, they are waiting. Okay. The parents who are scared of this economy, and they think that, look, if we don't get our students into higher institutions very quickly, the school fees, is going to get higher. So look, the earlier, the better. The various stakeholders, the university system, they're also hungry. They also want students to come in anyhow. They are even going to be the first set of people to subvert the policy. Exactly. So it's important for us to understand what I call the systemic foundations around systems and, expected resistance, or what we call unexpected, consequences. When you make, a statement, this is not, a department. This is 200 million people, Nigeria struggling to make a living. Some parents, look for God's sake, want those children out there very quickly so that they can graduate and begin to work and earn a living. They are tired of all these issues. So we need to really appreciate what I call you need to set up this systemic background, and I appreciate what we're dealing with here. Nigeria is a very, very complex country. So you don't just say, well, 16 years, no more, now 18 years, that's the new age. The people are just going to laugh at you. They're going to rearrange themselves, and we're not creating. What we should even be afraid of, first of all, what are we creating? A new black market. Because these children are going to get into school anyhow. Why? The question is why? Because we already have something that is being cemented. The culture is already cemented. You don't just come. It's not like a building that you just crush or you throw a bomb into the building and explodes. This is a social system that we're dealing with here, an educational system. This had to be built. And all those stakeholders have their interests embedded around making sure that if even 13-year-old, the universities will even fight to say, but bring him, we'll arrange it. This is Nigeria. They're arranging certificates, they're arranging all sorts of things. These students are going to get it. Now, see, this is what we'll have done. If I were in the system, if I were Minister of Education, or if I were part of the system, this is what I would have simply said. It's a very good idea. I like what Mommy told us just now. Yes. She said emotional maturity is critical.
Critical.
No matter how intelligent a child is, if that child has not reached that emotional, as just the brain, the way the brain develops, at 16, 18, at 15, it begins to experience what we call separation individuation according to psychologists. And the child is struggling between, being part of a family and then starting to emerge as an individual. It's called separation individuation. That stage is critical in a child's life. So struggling with that and jumping into educational institution is really something that we have to take into serious consideration. So this is what they will have. This is what I would have done. I would have simply said, look, this idea is good, but we cannot just push it in blankets. So this is what we should do. Okay? Bring the stakeholders together. Need to create, a forum of all the ecosystem players as far as higher education is concerned. First of all, the secondary school or the higher schools, I don't know what you call it in Nigeria. It's high school? I don't know. Okay, but I mean the secondary schools. These are the guys concerned here. You understand? What will they put in place for those 2 years, those intervening years? Because parents don't want their kids lounging at home. We all know that an idle mind is what? The devil's workshop. Yes. They should have taken this into consideration. So we have innovation hubs all over the country. Bring these innovation hubs together, align them with the schools. We have skills development centers all over the country.
Yes.
Bring all of these people to all these, agencies together. We have SMIDA, we have all these agencies. Bring all of them together. Along with the secondary school, I said, look, we need to keep these kids busy. There are critical skills that need to be developed. Let's create a structure around the policy. Policy without structure, you are just going to create chaos. You allow people to start groping in the dark, running around, doing different things, finding a way to maintain status quo. That's what's going to happen, and that's what's happening. And I'm so excited that we're bringing the conversation up today. So when you bring all this, I'm saying what I would have done. When we bring all these people together, what we then do is, okay, now we need these kids to get into school at 18, 19 or whatever. They're graduates, they're finished, yes, they're doing well, they're intelligent, yes. They can keep their JAM scores. That would have been fantastic. Maintain their JAM scores, give the JAM score validity. Say 3-4 years validity. So they're happy. In the meantime, we can follow, there's several models. One of the ones I allude to a lot is the Japanese model of Ikigai. Ikigai. So what the Japanese do, is that they allow young people to discover themselves around this period. Everything has been A, B, C, passing grades and all that. This is a beautiful time for them to experience what we call that self-discovery. With Ikigai, you begin to ask a person who is philosophically developing, because yes, educationally you develop, but again, around that 16, 17, you begin to ask yourself questions about life. You begin to have what I call the philosophical development. Now, that philosophical development is when you can now pose a question to a child. What are you here for? That's the first question the Japanese will ask. What am I here for? The next thing is, what does the world need? Now, these are going to be transmuted into what I call modules. You're going to gather these kids together and they're going to work on these projects. First project is what you are here for. Why do you exist? Why were you born? What does the world need? Have you ever wondered, for example, for distinguished listeners and my panelists, why there's a Japanese car in every country? Why Toyota is everywhere? Have you ever thought about it? It's born out of all these philosophies. Then after you ask yourself, what does the world need? Or in this case, we can frame it and design it our way and say, what does Nigeria need? What do Nigerians need? The next thing is, another module will be, What are you good at? What do you love? You know, something must come from within the individual. The thought process must start from the individual. Let them be the one to hatch this process. And there must be a structure around it. So I've asked, what am I here for? Why was I born in the first place? I've asked, what does the world need? Or if you want to bring it down, say, what does Nigeria need? I've asked, what are you good at? You've done 6 years of secondary school, 5 years. What did you discover that you're good at? And then what are you falling in love with? What do you love? The next question then is, what ventures, what are the ventures that are coalescing around this thing that you like? What is your vocation? What is your vocation? Then after that, you now begin to ask, how can you be paid for this? How can you be paid for this? So these are the foundation that you create in the mind of a child within this 1 or 2 years, that when he's now eventually moving into higher institution, he can enter the higher institution with that frame of mind.
Fantastic.
So he will even approach his discipline, whether it's architecture, whatever, medicine, whatever, with a philosophical mindset that creates an entrepreneurial graduate. Ultimately, there's so much to put into this process, but let's hope that I've started putting the conversation around what you asked, really, which
Thank
is,
you.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
sir.
Okay, go ahead. Yes.
No, please go on. Yeah, you have about 1 minute. I'm loving the direction you started, which I think I'm like, why didn't we start you on this policies and that systemic breakdown you started with has totally. There's a lot of mind-blowing comments, and people are a lot of insight from what you have said. So
thank you.
Yeah, so we have about 1 minute. We want to hear more and more from you, but you have about 1 minute, and then we're going to come back at the second.
Okay, so absolutely. So yes, so again, like I said, no policy, no structure, rubbish. What you do is you create another problem.
Exactly.
We call it fixes that fail. By the time we look at this matter in another 2 years, you'll find out that even younger people have gone into the system and we've created a bigger mess. What we're trying to do, what we'll then be trying to deal with will then be a wicked problem, which is a combination of the current problem and dealing with the new problem that we've created as a result of trying to intervene with a policy that is ill-prepared. So the opportunities available are, with artificial intelligence, you can imagine, it's like endless opportunities available for young people today, particularly at that age where they're still, they can still be properly guided. But let me since I just have a minute to go, we shall move this conversation forward when I come in again, if I'm going to come in again. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, this was really fantastic. I wish we're just giving you like the free flow, just speak from the heart, because this was from the heart.